If you want to get the latest and you need to be updated, online music insider, online music insider. If you want to get the latest and you need to be updated, online music insider, online music insider. Don't be confused about the news you can use. Don't be confused about the news you can use.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Online Music Insider. As we take a look into the music industry and talk to executives, knowledgeable people, people who have experience, people who are just getting started, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. This week's episode is catered for my number one asked question. As a radio announcer, years and years, and music director, program director, number one question that has always been asked to me, that is from recording artists, is how do I get my music played on radio? Now, there are several things to consider, but for this episode of Online Music Insider, we're going to tap into one of, I would say, on the top of the list after the correct music and producing, mixing, and mastering, all that has been done. This one would be on the top of my list. That's coming up right after this on Online Music Insider.
Online Music Insider.
And we're back. And so, what is the number one thing that I'm asked? How do I get my music played on radio? There's several things to consider, as I said earlier, and we'll just deal with one of them. In the weeks to come, we'll deal with other ones and different topics. And sure, you can even email me, joymediagroup@yahoo.com. If you have questions, or below the video here, you can contact me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I shout for joy. We're on the World Wide Web with your questions and things that you would like to see featured, and maybe people you'd like for me to interview in the music industry. One thing to consider is your packaging. Well, in the book industry, of course, they said you can't judge a book by its cover. I would have to tell you that a lot of times, being a music director or program director, that is your first impression. Think about it as if you were going to do an interview or apply for a job. How something looks, the design quality, doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money, but you do need to pay attention to a few things that I'm going to point out to you as you consider your packaging. Now, if you're going to go with traditional radio first, they're going to require you to actually mail it in. There are a few things to consider. Now, I get stacks and stacks of music whenever I go to places. You know, it's not uncommon to end up with stacks of music. Somebody just wrote their information on this one. This is definitely a no-no. Now, their music could be explosive. They could be the next Whitney Houston, Beyonce, Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin, whoever. But I'm just really not impressed with you writing your information on here, you know, and giving it to me. Something like this. It's you know, not a matter of judging them by the paper that they use, but it's you know, it's a clean look. I can go with this, especially if it's an artist you've never heard of. It just makes you want to, you know, put it to the side and say, are you really serious? Should I seriously take you serious? And should I seriously consider listening to your music? Time is of the essence, and time is everything. Time is money in this industry. You don't want to waste anybody's time. And so just put together a few things, and here are some of the things to consider while you're putting together your packaging. Number 1, graphic design. Number 2, photography or picture selection along with your concept. Make sure that it's a clear, concise concept that anyone could follow along with. You don't want to have like you're dressed up like Dracula and the name of the CD is something odd and people are like, what's going on here? And so just taking things more seriously, how you look, hiring the right people if you don't have the right stuff to be able to do it. Just some things to consider. So image is everything, and even what you decide to wear. So you want to get involved with the graphic designer along with your selection, whether it's a jewel case or cardboard, that really doesn't matter. It's all about just having something that's neatly packaged and presentable. This is your first foot forward into the music industry, and so I hope you gained something from the tips we shared today, and I look forward to sharing with you each week on Online Music Insider. Until next week, stay focused, be blessed, and stay inspired.
If you want to get the latest and you need to be updated, Online Music Insider, Online Music Insider. If you want to get the latest and you need to be updated, Online Music Insider, Online Music Insider. Don't be confused about the news you can use. Don't be confused about the news you can do.